Hey Deedo, do you know what time it is?
Yes, KT, it is about that time that we start covering our THNN broadcasting.
Alright, in this episode, Hermione makes an appearance. Deedo and I discuss what you put on bread, cream or butter, and we quit covering anime. We're going to go cover the political trail of Takafuji High School. All that more coming up. The show begins in 3, 2, one. It's time for the Ktdata Anime Podcast with Deedo and Ktdata. The Ktdata Anime Podcast is brought to you by Boars and Slimes. It's all grift for low-level players. Hey everybody, I'm Ktdata and welcome to the Ktdata Anime Podcast. With the guy next to me right now laughing is...
I'm Deedo, guys. How's it going?
So, this is the... How do we say this? The book club for anime watchers. So instead of reading a book, we actually watch anime.
Who reads
like,
books nowadays?
I know, you don't even have to like read text or anything, so it's really fun. And the nice thing is, this is the kickoff of our summer season, even though it's August, pretty much.
Yeah, kind of starting a little bit late, but
close enough. So what we do is watch 3 animes, and we'll announce the 3 animes that we're actually going to start in a second. And then we kind of discuss them and everything, and we have something in store for one of our animes right there. So, but Deedo, how are you doing? It feels like I have not talked to you in ages, and it's weird.
Because you haven't, you know.
Just because I've been avoiding you.
Yeah, I know you have, you bastard. Why? Why avoid me? Everyone loves me.
Deedo, it's not you, it's me.
That's what they all say.
Anyway,
really, they do.
Anyway, so let's announce the 3 animes we are doing. So, of course, we're going to keep on going with Kuroko's basketball because you would be a fool to think we would stop on that last episode where you're like, give me more! And as I was watching the Kuroko this week, I noticed that this is the longest basketball game we've actually been seeing.
It really is.
And then, so, the 2 new ones that we're actually going to do is Sword Art Online. I don't want to slur that all together, which is pretty cool. No nonsense anime. And the other one is Koi to Senko to Chocolate, or Koi Choco, or something like that.
Koi Senko to Chocolate.
Yeah. I can't enunciate. Anyways, so, let's just jump into our first one if everything doesn't blow up.
Boom!
No.
It just blew up.
And of course, our first anime is Kuroko's Basketball, and it's brought to you by Rock, Paper, Scissors. Just hope you don't lose. So, last when we left off, Midorima, he has a homing basketball. He can hit it anywhere on the court. It's ridiculous. Kagami finally just breaks and goes insane. And Kuroko, level up. Ding! So, Deedo. So finally, after Kuroko punches Kagami in the face from the last episode, gets some sense into him, and Kagami, right before they start the 4th quarter, decides to apologize to the senpai. And what does the senpai do, Deedo?
Oh, yeah, he becomes very scary because he's not really mad about the whole situation, but he's more mad at the way it was said.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll punish you later for this. I'm like, ah! So, of course, we're at the 4th quarter. Saren's like 12 points behind, which is ridiculous in a high school college game, because 12 points with only 10 minutes to catch up. It's kind of a hard feat to do, especially when you're playing against a Generation of Miracles player who can just throw the ball up and essentially it'll go in the basket, no matter where he is. And we find that Kagami, he's running out of gas because he's been leaping and jumping, lerping, blocking, doing all these crazy things. So the fourth quarter starts up, and everything's just starting to heat up for once. And what we find out in the timeout, though, before they start the fourth quarter, is Kagami, he only has about 2 jumps left in him because the coach, with her analytic abilities, like, you got about 2 jumps left. So she tells him, all right, use your first jump to block the first shot in the fourth quarter. And I totally understand that right there, because what you want to do is kind of set the tone for the fourth quarter, saying, we're still no nonsense. We still got gas. We're going to go down fighting if we're going to go down. And she says, save the other one for that decisive moment where it could just change, a dunk could change the game, or a block could change the game. So, that first one is total bluff, and it totally motivates the team. The team's only down 10%, or 10 points. Percent. Who uses percent?
10%.
Yes.
Who's percents nowadays?
Ktdata.net, now with 10% more nonsense. So what happens is that, remember that not only do they have Midori Dima on there, they have the captain, who's a pretty good center in his own right, and they also have Takao, who has the eagle eye. He can see everything on the court. So, how is Kuroko going to go and change this? He's going to up his game. So
so how Kuroko goes and work this out, and the best way to describe it is that Taiko's ability to see the entire court is used against him. So now that he's focusing on Kuroko himself, he's going to try to focus his center of vision on just him, on just Kuroko. So that means at the moment he tries to go find someone else, he's going to slip past him.
Yeah, so he actually still has a sense of where players are, but he doesn't have that precision, because Kuroko, every time he's doing it, he's making him pay more and more attention to him, which is usually the opposite of what Kuroko does, is kind of sneak past. And he gets to the point where Takao's kind of in this comfort zone where he just assumes that he can tell where Kuroko is, and then Kuroko uses that moment to actually dart around him and get away. And not only that, that's not just one thing that Kuroko's doing. He also, he's just been deflecting the ball in previous games, but he can actually do a super precise bullet punch to get the pass to the next person. And the reason why he doesn't do it is because if you've ever tried to catch a basketball going at 95 miles per hour with your bare hands, it hurts, and you got to have some strength. But Kagami, in his Berserker mode, Kuroko believes he can actually do this. And he actually totally Hadoukens one across the court all the way to Kagami. And Kagami's, remember, he only has 1 jump left because he used 1 to block Midori Dima at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And now he's like, do I do it or do it? He's like, I have to do it. And he totally just posterizes Midori Dima on that one. And when he gets back on the ground, he's like, oh, crap. And this is actually a really weird departure for Kagami. Is instead of him scoring, he goes up to Kuroko. And what does he say, Deedo?
He's just kind of like, Coach is right. I'm done. So... I'm going to leave the rest up to you, man.
Yeah. And then it comes down to 2 minutes left, and it's only a 2-point difference. Saren, 76. Shutoku is 78. So 1 shot separates everybody. So a 3 from Saren could end the game, or a 3 from Shutoku could spread that gap wide enough where Saren can't come back.
But there has been a break in the game. Shitoku's coach, or Shitoku's team, calls for their last timeouts. So during this time period, the coach decides that Midori Dima is going to get the ball so they can shoot a 3 and just put it away. Just, shut down Sharon right then and there.
So yeah, and then that's gotta tick some people off, because imagining that you've worked all these years to get on the starter team for this basketball club, because this basketball club literally has hundreds of members on there. but of course only 10 can go on the court. And then you're letting this first year kind of like end the game and finish it off. Like that honestly would tick everybody off. It's kind of like how every time I take charge of this podcast, Deedo's like, "No, I went to all those years of training and podcast school and everything, and now why is this punk doing all the work?"
Yeah. Everyone knows how much time I spent podcasting.
But so Kuroko, he gets a steal because Shutoku has the ball, so they have a chance to change it to a 5-point lead. And instead of that, Kuroko steals it, and he's the captain of Saren's. He's going up for a shot, and the captain of Shutoku, he's all angry and kind of mad, like, we can't just let this first year do all the work right here, and totally just stuffs the captain, like, totally out of it. That's like, not going to let you score that easily right there. But what happens is that, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so what happens is there's a 5-point gap and 30 seconds left. And the captain, he's just totally ice. Just goes back to the other side after Midoriya makes a 3 and just drains it. And he's like, you guys aren't making it that easily. So we have about 30 seconds left. Shutoku has the ball. So Saren has to get a steal in this moment. And that's right then is when you see another steal. Well, it was another steal, and they're trying to get it, but the ball goes out of bounds, gets knocked out of bounds by Shutoku. So it's Saren's ball. They have 18 seconds or so left, and what happens is that who makes the shot? I don't even remember who makes the shot.
It's Higia.
Yeah,
I think
Higia.
is how to pronounce it.
Yeah, the more quiet guy. Like, he doesn't really say a lot.
No, it's the captain. That's his first name is Higia.
Is he the one? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
now I remember.
Madaraba? Or not Madaraba. Sorry. That's a horrible name. That's a different character.
Yeah.
Oops.
So what happens is that they get the ball back, and instead of getting as close as possible to make the shot, the captain goes through the half-court line, and he's like, that last block you got on me was passionate, so it's time for payback right here. And the captain just lets a 3 fly from half court, which is pretty hard to do, even and gutsy in a game, to be honest, to do. And he just like totally goes in with 3 seconds left on the clock. So Saren thinks they're gonna win this one, all right? But Shutoku,
it's 82, 81.
Yeah.
3 seconds left. Saren is in the lead.
Yeah. Shutoku's like, I'm not going to let this go easily, so they pass it in for Midoriya. And so Midoriya is going up for his last shot, and Kagami's like, come on, legs, you can't stop me right now. And he manages to muster out one more high leap. But what do you think happens right there? Think he gets a block?
Matter of fact, no. Midoriya does a feint. He psychs out Kagami, where he jumps, he ducks back down, and then he's going to go for his other shot.
But remember that Midoriya has a crazy, like, long shot time. And when he brings the ball back down from his fake, Kuroko just taps his finger right in, and it just totally falls out of his hands. And, of course, with only 3 seconds left on the clock, buzzer goes off, and Saren wins. And
that was literally the longest 3 seconds you'll ever see in basketball, because it totally pulled a DBZ there.
Yeah.
Totally.
And the funny thing is that when I was reading, so I watched this after Deedo did most of the show notes, and I knew Saren was going to win, but right at that moment with that block and the buzzer going off, I started cheering. Like, I knew they were going to win. And you can't expect anything else because they're doing it tournament style. So Saren has to win. But here I am still cheering him on and going, yeah!
About that same time period is that when Saren wins, I'm pretty sure KT had to go change his shorts because, he probably crapped himself.
Deedo. You should know when I'm sitting in the studio, there's a reason why you only can see from my chest up.
Yeah, it's the same here.
um, but so now it cuts off to this guy just laying in a basketball court, and I'm like, what? And he's like, so boring. I am so bored. Everything I do is just boring. And it turns out that his name is how do you say it? You know, unknown.
It's Almini.
Yeah.
Like Almine
Like
because
Hermione, except
yeah.
Almine.
Well, no, Almine. It's like Almine, like Almine.
I think I'm gonna call him Hermione.
Hermione.
Why not?
I should put in his first name. Yeah.
But yeah,
Or just call him Al.
He kind of sounds like a douchebag to me, to be honest, because he's like, seriously, That's how Deedo sounds when I'm like, all right, Deedo, we got to record the show. Seriously, we're professionals here.
I'm more like this. Really?
But so it cuts back to the what's her name? The coach of Saren walking into the locker room. It's like, all right, everybody, let's head home. And you just go in, and everybody's just like,
oh, Rico.
Yeah, Rico, and then so the team's just like, and I love it because Kagami's just in the corner, just shaking, like, it's like I can't even get up right now or move.
They're practically like zombies right now. If you see this part, they are quite literally zombies.
Yeah, it's pretty much me in the morning. I'm not even gonna lie. That's me in the morning. No. And she's like, all right, so for some reason, somehow they have money this time around. And she's like, let's just go to the nearest restaurant. And it's called Okono. How do you say it?
Okonomiyaki.
Yeah.
Okonomiyaki.
What he said.
Stuff's good, guys. Stuff's good.
Well, what he said. And she's like, all right. And then somebody carry Kagami. So everybody gets around in a circle and goes, rock, paper, scissors.
Jonkin Po.
Yeah. Or I never got why everybody's like Rochambeau. I'm like, huh?
Rochambeau. No,
so many different ways of saying rock, paper, scissors. If you have a unique one, send it in at Ktdata.net. I'd love to hear it. So they show up, and guess who's already there, Deedo?
We have our oh god, forgot their names already.
Seiho.
The Seiho's ones, yeah, the Seiho teams.
Yeah, so the Kisei and his, I forgot the other guy's name. Kisei's there.
Yeah,
with
it's like their captain, was it, or was it the captain?
I don't remember. But yeah, so Kisei's already there, and they're eating, but the whole team walks in like, we need 11 desks. We need 11 spots. So somehow the rest of the team manages to sit behind Kisei, and then Koriko and Kagami are sitting at the table with Kisei, and they're like, how in the world why are you guys sitting with us? And the funny thing is, they're just sitting there, and then it's kind of starting to rain outside and everything. And guess who walks in the door after that?
Yes, and then we have, what was his name? Teiko?
Yeah, Teiko and Midori just walk in, and they're like, what are you guys doing here? What are you doing here? It's like, fine, we'll go eat somewhere else. And they just march out for a second, and you just hear this thunder, lightning, and they come back in.
And completely just drench some more. It's kind of like everybody who was there decided to meet up in one spot to eat. It's just because it was the closest place, apparently.
Nearest restaurant, it makes sense, right?
And okonomiyakis are really, really good.
Yeah. So, and then Takao, he goes and he sees the point guard from Kisei's team and says, oh, you're like I saw you in basketball magazines. Like, I got to talk to you, and kind of drags him away into the table behind him with the rest of the Saren team. And so, here we go. We have this table with Midori, Kagami next to him, Kisei, and Koriko all sitting at a table. And they're just like kind of staring each other off. And then Rika just looks over and is like, oh my god, that is just the most epic table right now.
I was just going like, oh god, sparks are gonna fly. But at this point, Kuroko comes up and is like, let's just order,
It's like,
because
I'm
he's
hungry.
hungry. But you have Kagami. All
No,
of a sudden, like,
so they're having this like serious discussion with
yeah.
Kisei and Midorima. They're kind of discussing their philosophies in basketball, and then Kagami in the background. What is he doing, Deedo?
He starts to order, and this is what he orders too. He orders squid balls, pork balls, mixed balls, octopus balls, and pork kimchi balls. Insert joke here.
We won't go there. We would never go there. We're family friendly here.
But the best part is too, this moment that he finishes his order, both of them look over and is like, "What?" And Kuriko's just like, "Oh, don't worry, he'll eat it all."
Yeah. And the funny thing is, when their order comes in, Kuriko's like had one slice of whatever he ordered, and then Kagami's just like.
It's like he piled it all. He just piled it on the grill right in front of him, and it's about like 4 times bigger than Kuriko's.
Yeah, and I love it. Like in the background, you just see the cow trying to like cook the food in the background, and so they're still having this like in-depth philosophy of basketball, and Midorima's like, I don't play basketball for fun or anything, and all of a sudden like this fried egg just lands on the top of his head, and he looks over. It's like Takau's like, we'll talk about this in a second, and he just like drags Takao out. And Kuriko just says one of those lines that I love. He goes, if it was boring, we would have never gotten this good. And then like Kagami and Kisei and everybody are just like, yeah, probably. And Midorima just comes in after he beats the crap out of Takao. And he's just like taking his bag and everything. And the funny thing is, at this moment, like, during the whole Shutoku series, it looks like Midorima doesn't have any, like, real respect for Kuriko and their team. But when they're leaving, Kuriko's like, we gotta play again sometime soon. And I was like, next time I'll win. And, like, that, honestly, that's probably the best you're gonna get from him, showing a sign of respect from there. And so, when everybody finishes eating and they kind of head outside, luckily the rain stopped. They're like, where's Kuriko? And they look around. And guess what Kuriko found?
Kuriko just brings up some random dog that has been left. Has a little box and everything saying, please adopt me. And as soon as they all like going, oh, it's, Riko comes out and sees it, and she just goes nuts. Like, she's apparently a dog lover.
It's like cuddling.
And at the moment where they actually calm her down just enough, she's looking like, this reminds me of somebody. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the eyes. So they ended up keeping the stray dog, but Kagami's nowhere to be seen, and they look over and he's just cowering behind the sign. And what do you think that he's doing? I thought he was just he ate something wrong, to be honest with you.
Yeah, apparently Kagami is scared of dogs.
And to be honest with this dog, they end up calling him Ni, or number 2. Each Ni San Joe. I don't know the rest. That's all I know.
Rogue, Nana, Hachi. Anyways.
To be honest, I'm gonna have to get myself a plush knee now. Woo, more money I'm spending on a plush.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Yeah, like I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. By the end of the episode, I'm like, I'm gonna have to get myself one.
The moment the one comes available, KT, you're gonna be getting links.
Yeah,
like everything else I do.
Well, once one of those show up, I'm hoping to get one that looks kind of like a Fuku over here instead of a crochet one. Cause he's all fluffy. He's fluffy and cute.
Yeah, well, there's always the contracts. You always contract Ami and more.
Fluffy and cute.
If they don't come out with one, how else are you going to get it?
Hey,
anyways.
Ami Amore, by the way, make sure you guys check out our Anime Expo, Day 2, Ami Amore. She's actually making me a Renon. They're they adopt this dog. I don't know who the dog's staying with, but so it cuts to the pool, and everybody's like doing pool squats, and dude, those things are tough. I'm not even gonna lie, cause you think doing them in air is try having all this water pushing down on you, and you're trying to do like squats and everything. It's tiring, and they won't let Kagami do anything because he's kind of overexerted his legs, and they need to heal. But he's like, I feel like I'm missing out. I was like, you gotta heal first. I was like, okay.
Yes, Rico is very adamant about making sure he doesn't participate until his legs are healed.
Yeah. So, but it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, and then Kuriko's just kind of floating in the water, face down. And everybody's like, "Don't sleep."
I love how he's just like floating there, like, "Don't sleep." It's like, oh, are you serious?
Yeah. And then enters. Could it be another girl?
Yes, and apparently the whole team is just like, as she was saying, as she just kind of makes some noise and everything. So the whole team is in the water, like, right up to here, and they just kind of look over and see her, and she's in a two-piece bikini, and they're just like, go.
Turns out this girl is actually Momoi or Kuroko's girl manager. It's complicated. I think that's what you kids do, right, on the Facebook when it's like that. It's complicated. From middle school, she just goes around saying that she's his girlfriend, but he's like, "You're just my old manager," and everybody's like,
oh yeah, the whole team is just get super jealous of Kuriko because of Momomi.
And yeah, it's funny they end up calling the coach a B. Coach is like, but what happens is that while they're kind of fawning over that and learning a little bit about the past, Hermione meets Kagami on basketball court. Kagami's trying to sneak in some practice, but like when he shoots, he's like his legs just seize up, and they're kind of doing a one-on-one, and Amone is like, "Your light is not strong enough to make Kuriko's shadow make you stronger." And after that, he just totally like drives by Kagami in a speed, and then of course the episode ends right there. I'm like, are you kidding me? So remember, there's 5 generations of miracles. We've met 3 of them, right? Yeah. So Hermione is the 4th one. And then third. Yes, third one. And then there's 2 more that you see in the opening. They get a new intro music too, so you'll hear that next week. I'm not too much of a big fan of it, but it's still Grand Rodeo. It's still good, but it just doesn't get you as amped as the one that we played today. But we'll switch it up,
It depends on your taste,
We'll keep it fresh.
Next time, guys. Next time.
Yeah. Speaking of keeping it fresh, let's go on to our first new anime. And our next anime is Sword Art Online, and it's brought to you by
Hours of play. Be careful. It might be the death of you. So here we start out in a new, fully virtual online MMO called Sword Art Online. And this is the year 2022. This is the first virtual MMO.
Deedo, that's not that far off from where we are. 10 years?
Yeah, which is the funny thing too is there's a part in the opening, or the first 10 minutes. First 10 minutes of there, you see the main character lay on his bed and everything. If you look on his desk, he still has a keyboard, mouse, and 3 monitors. I'm just going,
Dude, Deedo, you cannot.
Something seems odd about this.
You seriously cannot get enough monitors, man. I need more monitors.
No, it's like I'm only wondering why only 3. It's 2012. You should have more than 3.
You should have a whole array of them.
You should just have them all over the place, Anyways, so with only 10,000 copies being released, first pressing, it was sold out. Online sales of the Sword Art Online, or SAO, we're gonna call it, is completely sold in seconds. And here we introduce ourselves. Our main character is
Kirito.
Kirito. There we go, Kirito. And he was a beta tester for SAO, and now he's re-entering the world once again.
Yeah.
And
So what's nice?
This is actually really. Here we go, conflicting.
Yeah. Go ahead, Deedo.
Those are...
Go ahead. Go ahead.
For me, this is actually a really good one because, I am an MMO player. So, seeing a world where you are completely virtualized into this and everything about your personality is now put into your avatar is just awesome. KT over here should seriously start playing some MMOs.
Hey, I beta test a lot of games. So, I beta test a lot of games. So I kind of understand where, if you're a beta tester, of course you're getting all these extra hours in. Like, the final game may not be what you're playing, but you kind of get an idea, and, because you just have more time to play with the ropes and whatnot on there. But, so today is launch day, and it's cool because you see him put on this headset, which I just realized that headset looks really similar to the ones in .hack.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting ready to. You know how gamers are. We wait until midnight and wait for it to unlock on Steam. This is that version of it. He's waiting for the game to unlock essentially on his version of Steam, so he can jump into the game right at midnight. And you kind of see him jump into there, and he ends up in this world. And it's hustle and bustle because it's first day. Everybody wants to play and kind of learn the ropes of the game. And there's this one guy that kind of sees Kirito. What's with
Here we go with name switching.
What's with the characters that start with the letter K? Next thing you know, I'm gonna start calling him Ktdata. He kind of sees him. He's running around the alley and everything. And he kind of flags him down, and his name is Klein. Again with the K's. This is bad because all these characters with the K and all my podcasts start with K and...
It's a K-fest.
Yeah!
But I'm not going to go there. But Klein notices Kirito, and he approaches him and asks him, too, were you happen to be a beta tester? Because he notices that when you first start the game, you won't be able to move as easy, so running is actually pretty hard to do in Sword Art Online. So he asked him if he can teach him the ropes and how to actually fight to gain experience, like what noobs would ask experienced players in the terms, too. And that's where they go. He takes him out to the field, finds a couple boars, and shows that, the basics of the game, if you charge your sword, the system will actually let your techniques land. But in Sword Art Online, there is one thing that they did not add in most MMOs when you play this. It's magic. There is no type of magic in the game, or usable magic in the game.
There's no mages. Mages. Deedo, there's your favorite character is not in the game.
Yes. So.
What you gonna do?
Which is kind of, if you feel weird too, because there is no technical healers in the game, so that makes things quite interesting.
I know. I can't tank that well.
No, you can't.
And you said I don't play MMOs. You said I don't play MMOs. I know a thing or two.
A thing or two.
But so after Kirito shows Klein some of the ropes and everything, he's like, "Oh, I'm kind of getting hungry. I got a pizza coming in like half an hour." And then he tries to log out, and it's like, there's no log out button. It's just like this podcast. Once you start, you can't stop. We've disabled the stop button.
At this point, we have Klein and Kirito trying to call up the GMs, trying to figure out what's wrong, where they are automatically forced teleported to the main square, where everybody who happened to be logged in at the time is transported to this area, and this big warning
Voldemort
dome of doom just fills the sky and everything, and you have some weird guy in a cloak comes in,
Yeah.
and
You tell me that doesn't look like Voldemort from Harry Potter?
nah.
Yeah.
So the man, the wraith, if you want to call him that,
I'm
since
gonna call
KT
him
happened to go
I'm
throw that
calling
in
him
there.
Voldemort. All our characters in this season are getting Harry Potter names.
Oh God, oh here we go.
Hey, at least
But
I'm not giving
Cheaters-
them 50 Shades of Grey names, alright?
Anyways, all right. So the man describes himself as Kiyaba Ahiko, which is the game developer, the one who actually created Sword Art Online, and gives everyone the information that they've been looking for. The reason why that they can't log out, because in the final version of Sword Art Online, the logout is actually a feature. So who'd seriously like not have their logout as a feature? But for a little bit of information about this too, the Nerve Gear, your headset, it's called a Nerve Gear, and it's pretty much stops all transmissions that goes from your brain to your body and just transmits straight into your avatar.
I so would want
So essentially, yeah, so it essentially just puts you into like a comatose situation where only your brain's functioning.
Yeah, imagine like you sticking a computer right between your actual body and your mind, and that's essentially what it does. And I still want one.
Yeah, so in this case too, he lets everyone know that you are now trapped in the game. And in the end, if anyone removes your headset, it will send a microburst radiation to your brain, essentially frying it and killing you. And also, too, if you ever let your HP drop to 0, you also die as though the headset was being taken off, too. So, this game just got real.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Game of Thrones. You live or you die.
Yeah, so, and in this first announcement, there has already been 213 players die.
Yeah, because somebody tried to either take off the gear or... Well, yeah, somebody tried to take off the headgear because they're kind of stuck in that beginning town hall because there's a shield around it, so everybody's there. But there's a silver lining. The way to log out is you just have to defeat all 100 levels of this game.
You must climb the tower, get to the 100th floor, and beat the zone boss.
And
basically.
Save the princess. What?
Wait, yes, and there's a princess to say, wait, what?
Plumber? What? Huh?
But as a parting gift from our dearly hated game advisor now,
I think he's loved. He's not hated, he's loved.
He's well loved, apparently, because he spreads the love around and lets everyone know, in your item stack there is a gift from me. And everyone pulls it out and it just says mirror. So they literally manifest a mirror, they look into it, and what it does is takes your avatar, the one that you created, and turns it into who you really look like.
Oh, that would be so scary. Because I can prove by our numbers that we get more audio downloads than video downloads, and that's probably because they're scared of our faces.
Especially mine.
Yeah. So if that ever happened in the game, I don't think I'd ever get invited into a guild or get any party invites, so I'd have to solo the game.
Yeah, I'd have to become a solo player too, and most likely if I find KT somewhere, we'd both just look at each other and just...
PvP!
Yeah, PvP. It's so PvP.
Of course, as Kirito, he's kind of the expert on this game because he's got to like level 8 in this game. So you can see it's pretty hard to beat the game. If in the month he had beta testing, he only got to level 8. He tells Klein that he's going off to the next town to level up because soon all the spots in the quests around this area is going to be oversaturated where he won't be able to get anything, and he should come with him. And but Klein's like, well, I was going to meet my friends, so they're probably somewhere in that town square. I'm going to go find them. So Klein and Kirito kind of split their ways, and this is where you start kind of getting the feeling that Kirito, he usually just solos, and he only does parties when he absolutely necessarily needs to do it to get to the next level or to get an item he wants or something like that. Which is, usually different from MMO because it's massive multiplayer online, not let's just go single play.
There is World of Warcraft. That's pretty solo, if you really want it to
well, yeah, if you want a multi-box.
be. No, not even that. Anyways, so Kirito sets off into the next town and tries to survive this new world he's been kind of stuck in now. So now it's been 1 month. 1 month has passed since the game launch, and there's been reported over 2,000 people have died now.
Holy crap, that's a lot. Because remember, this is only 10,000 players are in there. 2,000 have died. So
yes.
10%
And the worst part is, too, no one's cleared the first floor boss yet.
Yeah. So 20% of the players are gone. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
And just for people know too who don't play MMOs, the average consistency on any server generally runs around about 3 to 4,000 people online at once. So that's half of the people you would normally see online at one time already gone.
That is just crazy if you think about it. Like number wise, it's nuts. Totally nuts. Where 20.
But there is some good news too. We have our new player who is gathering potential people to want to defeat the first zone boss. His name is Dibble. He claims himself to be a knight, but at the same time too, he wants to get everyone past the first floor so that they all can advance in this game in order to help other people.
Yeah, kind of give the other players saying, hey, it's possible to get off the first level. We're going to make it through, kind of be that beacon of light on how to make it through. And so, of course, you learn another thing about this game is that the party system, I've been used to having like giant parties where you got like 15, 20 people, right, Deedo? Apparently in this party system, you only can have 6 per party, which that's a kind of interesting tack that you don't see too often in a lot of MMOs on there. Oh, speaking of that, Knights of the Republic, it's free to level 50 now, Deedo. Free to play.
Free to level 60?
Yeah, or 50.
There you go. Oh, 50.
Yeah, we should.
There you go, guys.
We should start playing once they do that. Yeah.
Once they do that, but we also have to do the Need for Speed as well. We have to start streaming that.
We could have R2D2 as our mount. For our pen.
Ktdata.net with R2D2. Anyways.
Back to the anime that we're talking about. Oh yeah, we're talking about an anime, huh? The video games and the anime, they're combining. I can't tell the difference anymore. So they kind of go in and everybody kind of gets their parties except Kirito because he's like, nobody wants me to be in the party. But he sees this hooded, cloaked figure and he kind of scoots over. It's like, so you want to be in a party because nobody else wants us in their party? And she's like, I guess so. And they reluctantly join in the party. And Kirito discovers her name is Asuna.
Azuna.
Yeah. So, they have a 2-person party.
Yeah.
But it's a party when it's just me and Deedo in the Ktdata Anime podcast, right?
Yep, right here, see?
And then so right before they leave, this guy named Kaibao. Man, I suck at names. Why are you making me do all the names today?
Or else it'd be Kibu, actually.
Kibu. Yeah, he comes in and he's like, all you beta testers out there, it's all your fault. You guys kind of just disappeared into the shadows, took all the good spots, and kind of left all us newbies threw us under the bus type thing.
Yeah. But then we have another bigger fellow named Agel it comes down and it's like, yeah, let me get this straight. So all the beta testers should be apologizing to the 2,000 people who have died. And he's like, yes, but what's the guild, like the NPC guilds and everything, do updates. These guild booklets, these little booklets that give you update information from all the beta testers who've accumulated data, knowledge, and all the secrets and how to play the game, and it's free to distribute, free for everybody who's willing to use it. And beta testers themselves have sacrificed themselves in order to get this data on the floor boss.
Yeah, and he's like, beta testers are filling that out, so you're still hating on them. And you kind of see early on in this anime, they're kind of making this divide between beta testers and the new players, where beta testers are kind of going to get persecuted just because they may have a little bit more experience than anybody else on there.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that after they kind of get everything all sorted out, they get information on the boss of the first level, and his name is that an
Ilfang.
Ilfang. So he has 4 HP bars, and of course he has mob members too. So he has little peons that kind of try to distract you when you're trying to kill him. And you get kind of his weapon layout where he has an axe and a buckler. But when, of course, in boss fights, when the boss is almost dead, they pull out a trump card. They always pull out a trump card, and it's a curved sword called a talwar.
Yeah.
So now they have all this information, and what's the guy's name? Dibel. He's like, okay, so now we are all organized. We're gonna head out tomorrow, so you guys get a good night's sleep and do all that stuff. And apparently, you can eat in this game and still be okay, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I found this to be kind of, it's just as interesting as KT thinks, is that you just can still somehow eat. I mean, you're thinking that your body is already like a lump of flesh right now, so I guess like eating in the game makes you, stimulates your mind thinking that you're still alive or something.
Yeah,
this is really interesting how they would make your body still stay alive when you are currently hooked up to a computer.
I know. I'm expecting like all of them when they come out of the game, if they come out of the game, to be like hooked up to IVs and feeding tubes and diapers and whatnot.
That's what I'm expecting too. But
it's the ugly side of gaming.
Yeah. So as Kirito comes to Azuna and just like she's just eating some bread and everything, just saying like, "Oh, is that good?" whatnot. So he puts this little item down where it turns into butter. Like you touch it and you can spread butter on your bread now and
he
you
said
eat
cream.
it.
I heard it in Japanese. She go cream.
Yeah, but like for all our visuals or our listeners out there who, if we say cream, then they'll be kind of weirded out. But it's essentially just butter,
I'm just going with cream.
I bet you would.
Whipped cream. Whipped cream.
Cool Whip.
Whipped.
Cool Whip.
Will Wheaton. Oh, happy belated birthday, Will Wheaton. So they kind of try to get talking, and as soon as she's like, I came here because I didn't just want to like waste my life away in the starter town not doing anything, and that's why I'm here. So the morning comes, and you kind of see all the what's the guy's name again? Dibel leading the giant group, each in their individual parties together, and Kirito's kind of laying out some tactics that he's like, okay, we should do this when we get to the boss and do this, this, and this, and he says, okay, so right when I do this, you should switch, and then Asuna's like, switch? It's like, have you ever been in a party before? It's like, no, this is my first time. And Kirito's going like, he like literally stops walking, just stares at her going,
like, really? Oh boy.
really?
So we approach the first boss floor. Now, the door of the first boss, I should say. And this is how it is. So it's one boss, 3 lesser mobs of the Ruin Kobold Sentinels is what they're called. 3 of them, mind you. Again.
So since Kirito and Asuna, they don't have a full 6-man team, they're kind of in charge of making sure they take out those lesser mobs, the peons around there, while everybody else focuses on attacking the main boss. So as Kirito is starting to fight, they switch off, and then we actually see Asuna fighting, and he's like, "Hey, she's pretty good." Along there, and then what happens is, so the main attack force manages to get the boss down to that one level, but instead of pulling out his the Talwar, he pulls out a different sword, which is a Nodachi, and all of a sudden Kirito's like, "Run! Run far away!" But Daibel, he doesn't listen, and he kind of just goes full on, and he takes a full swipe of that of the Nodachi right at him. And Kirito, he kind of runs over with a potion trying to save him, but Daibel's like, "No, don't do that." And we're like, what? What in the world's going on?
Yeah, but in his dying breath, quite literally, he leaves the task of killing the boss to Kirito, which I found to be kind of interesting. Like, why in the world would he do this when he could have actually healed him? But at this point, we have, like, Daibel disappears, and everyone watches this too and kind of starts losing faith.
Dude,
So
it's not even
Kirito
disappearing; he dies. Remember, you lose, you die.
Yes, it just poof. So Kirito and Asuna decide to duo attack Ilfang, and this is where actually a nice fight scene that takes place too. Unfortunately, we can't really describe too much of it just for our listeners, because that would get really, really boring. So, highly recommend watching this. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, right when I said duo attack, I'm like, guilty crown. That is literally the first thing that popped into my head. Guilty crown. So they managed to defeat the boss, of course, and what happens when you play a game like this? You get loot, right? And it turns out that it's a super rare item for whoever got the last attack. And since that was Kirito, he gets a coat of midnight as his kind of shape and armor. And then this is where it totally gets weird, because what's that guy's name? Kibo. He kind of like freaks out. It's like, you knew that attack pattern. Why didn't you warn him? You're a beta tester, aren't you? And then Kirito just goes crazy, and he's like, those guys are amateurs compared to me. I kind of gone through I've been farther than any other beta tester on here. And then Kibo's like, you're a cheater. You're a beater. And I'm like, seriously? A beater?
Yeah, but there's one thing that Kirito did say there that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have missed too, is that all the beta testers were just wondering how to level, and he did say that everyone in here is better than them.
Yeah, and he's like, I made it farther than any of those guys. Those guys are nothing compared to you, and you're stronger. So, like, he kind of puts on that coat of midnight and does the cool guys don't look back at explosions walk into the second level. But then before he leaves, he's like, Asuna's like, how do you know my name? It's like, well, your name's right next to your health bar when you're in a party. And then he disbands the party and walks away. Dun dun dun. The funny thing is that this anime, I'm kind of really invested into it now. And I didn't really expect them to dive in like this at the beginning. I kind of expected like 1 or 2 episodes where, they're more like, oh, happy, nothing's gone wrong, this is a great game type thing. But no, they totally jump into this anime. What do you think, Deedo?
Well, they have to cover 100 floors. This is probably a 12 episode anime, and they pretty much have to just dive right in, because this is not just a game anymore.
Yeah. All right, so Deedo, you know what? I know we said we're going to go into another anime after this, because 3 is our golden number we like to follow. I'm not feeling it anymore, dude.
Not 5, but 3.
Yeah, I think that we need to get out of the anime podcast business. You want to know where the money is? With elections coming up and everything, I think we should jump into the political world, political coverage of everything. And look, I even got a theme song for us right here. Alright, and now we're renaming from the Kita Anime Podcast to the Takafuji High School News Network, THNN. It's fancy, isn't it? And it's brought to you by Umachin Yowie Sticks. Eat them at your leisure.
THNN, huh?
Yes.
So we're now THNN.
Yes, and you know what? Let's start off. We got breaking news, Deedo. Breaking news right here. There is a scandal in student council involving the president. So, it looks like our student council president, Mori, is kind of getting pressured not to run for re-election next term. It has something to do with, do you remember the story we covered a while back at the school that the public safety commissioner, he's kind of interrogating people, but doing it in a way where it kind of caused all the financial aid students kind of get harassed because it kind of outed all of them on his interviewing them.
Yes, I do remember this.
That was the news, that was our breaking headlines, for last week. So we're kind of getting a little rumbling on who could possibly be running next for the next presidential race, because obviously it would not make sense for them to have the president resign right now, because his job is to train the incoming administration, and the vice president, he's pretty new at this, so it wouldn't make sense, because the elections are almost right around the corner. So we haven't had any full announcements, because election time's not here yet on who's running, but there's rumor that one of the next ones is the General Affairs Commissioner, Tatsumi Mohiji. He's been very vocal and very critical about how the president was, the student council president was running everything, So, what do you think? Do you think he has a chance as a good candidate?
Casey, that's a very good question, because from what we've been seeing on his political standards is that there's some reports of accounting frauds.
That might ding him a lot, but he seems to have the interest of the students. He was the one who brought it up about how the president was responsible for filling the position of the General Affairs Commissioner. Of course, the General Affairs Commissioner is not going to be running for president, because he's out of here. He's been indicted for all the stuff he's done. But I also heard some really odd things about Tatsumi Mohiji. He seems to. There's kind of been rumors that he's been passing out cards. I wouldn't say they're bribes, because we can't call them bribes since the election season hasn't started, so no one has really officially is in the race yet, because they're not in the race. So
basically he's trying to give gifts then, is that it?
Yes, some might say he's just trying to reward the students. He's looking out for the student body right there. I don't know about there. But then we also have another strong possible candidate that has been very vocal in the student council, and that is actually the finance council, Shinonomi Satsuki, and she's actually a sister of one of the teachers in the school, which is
that is correct.
Hazuki Sensei, and everybody loves Hazuki Sensei. Everybody, you kind of get that vibe that she's always happy.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have to do with the fact that she has her own. She hangs around the food club a lot, the food research club.
Yeah, she must it's probably all that sugar that she gets in the food club, But she's always
probably.
happy. And she has a good agenda because our school, it's a big school. There's about 3,000 of us here. That's a lot of money. And one of her agendas that she's been trying to push is to cut down the budget. And what better way than start getting rid? Because some of these clubs that we got out there is they don't seem to be doing it. They don't have any. By the way, disclaimer: THNN, we're not on that chopping block of lists of clubs that you might want to cut. Of course, why would you want to cut us? We are your only news source for what's happening down in Takafuji High School. We bring you the news. That's why we are THNN. So don't worry about us. We'll still be around. We want you guys, the students, to be involved. But that's actually a pretty good idea. It might even help us get more funding for better cameras and everything, so we can do better coverage to bring you guys news. So I'm kind of leaning towards her way. What do you think about her stance? Do you think it's a little too harsh to be cutting out these clubs that have not shown any achievements or seem like they do anything?
Makes perfect sense, KT. Because if we are funding clubs that are not actually benefiting toward the school itself, then they should be cut.
Yes.
Unless they can prove that they have potential.
Yeah. And then, so those are the two main candidates that are on the student council. Though they have shown a track record that they know what they're doing. They're already involved in student council, so they know the inner workings. And I think they could give a good leadership approach that our current president right now apparently seems to be lacking. But I've also heard about this other guy. He's apparently from the food club, and his name is Ushima Yuki. Have you heard of him anywhere?
Oh, you mean Ojima? You mean Ojima Yuki?
Oh, it's Ojima. I don't know. I haven't heard it. Have you heard any rumblings about him yet?
I heard that he is very well known among the food research club. It's that he's a very vocal person, and it seems like he actually is well liked among the female body of the school.
That's very interesting. I honestly don't know him, so that's we'll have to see what comes up with that. Of course, the student council presidency elections, the student council elections in general, aren't going to come for another couple weeks. So we here at THNN will keep you updated to the latest news, the breaking news, and what's hot and what's not in these campaign trails. We will definitely be following them closely, these three candidates and any other candidates that could be following up. But now, for a little bit something lighter, let's head on over to the weather forecast with Morishita-san. Right here. Alright, thank you Morishita-san for the weather forecast. And that's all we have right now for the Takafuji High School News Network. And the Kita Anime Podcast. I guess we'll have to keep doing both, right, Deedo?
Yeah, it's not clear day job.
Yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed we think covering high school news is very, very important, so that's why we're going to do that. So keep an eye out for THNN and Kita Anime Podcasts. That's the entire show right there. Do you got anything to plug, Deedo?
Just so everyone's aware, too, that what we just covered was Koitu Senko to chocolate.
Yes.
Since we never did announce that.
Why would we do that, Deedo? I like high school news. High school news is so much more interesting than going and talking about anime. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel
Who
involved.
needs to talk about anime?
That's day-to-day life. That's hitting people out in the world, Deedo. I'm just saying. It's important. And it makes me feel like
important. Priorities.
Yeah,
priorities.
Feel like a good broadcaster. But, of course, feedback. Kita@ktdata.net. If you hate it, you love it, let us know. If you think we made a bad decision in the animes we picked. let us know. If you hate my voice, let me know. And I will speak even more. Or something like that. Of course, check us out on Facebook. We still got that poll going, trying to rename our Facebook page, so it won't be Panda Bear Productions. I personally like KTNet, KTData Net, or KTNet. I think it was KTNet. Something net.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I might be a little conceited, but who cares? A
little.
We're also on. We're on Pinterest. Ktdata on Pinterest. We are also, and if you don't like using Facebook, but you like seeing the figures and stuff, I kind of try to mirror that and mix in stuff that I like seeing too. Google plus.ktdata or just search for the Kita Anime Podcast. It's all there. Twitter at KTData, and of course, if you want to watch us live, 2 weeks from now, around 7-ish or 10-ish, it's at ktdata.net/live, and that will be August 14th. Got anything else to say, Deedo?
For all those who are following most of my figure reviews itself, bad news. I'd like to announce right now that the August loot of mine is getting pushed back. Or no, sorry, the July loot that I was supposed to be getting has been pushed back to August. So expect a big box of crap at the end of August.
Keep an eye, ktdata.net. That's where all of this is, including the show notes, which include episode links to all the animes we talked about. So, it's a book club. You got to watch the animes before you come listen to this. And I guess we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Signing off.
2 weeks, guys.
From the what did I call it? THNN. Good night.
High school broadcasting, that's best.
And the bass goes yowie, 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 yowie. Alright, let's just hope my headphones don't kill out.
Oh, they will. Oh, they will.
Business cards. Alright.